tipper bags, I got tipper bags, yeah. If your service good, get a stag, yeah. 50 grand, make your job disappear. I look the part, yeah, I look Davenir. Get my order right or I'ma bust a Yui. I don't like raw fish in my sushi. Want a big tip, better get the cooking. I am not paying you for all this lipping. Sapphire diamonds, yeah, they bluey bluey. Put them around your neck, you look chewy chewy. Blow 10 grand, please excuse me. Bless me real good, I need a hero cookie. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper.
They say the rap game dead, I object, that's a low blow. Taking copycatting off each other, that's a no-no. Keep this original or just not even no show. I'm a big tipper, when I spend it, I'ma flip ya. So girl, drop it really low, show them how we for the flow. Candy yam is dick and ball, feed me and give me more. Haters gon' hate when they see us running state to state. The way that we be tipping, man, up this on some other shit. Down on this dude, what you mean, that's another chick. Coming in, going out on some other shit. Try to rip us off, best believe it, that's a no-go. Never trust nobody, even family, that's a no-no.
I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Comedy Hour Live on the powerofvoices.com. My name is Anna Marie, as you know. And let me tell you, I got Yahweh Poetic in the house. That's a new song. Big Tipper that opens my show. Man, how you doing, Yahweh?
I'm good. What's going on? What's going on?
You gotta, the song Big Tipper, I mean, let's face it. If I was in a few industries, I'd be wanting that song to be playing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it has a couple of the verses that you have, you got your son on that too as well, right?
Yeah, well, I got Jason Case on there, and then I got my son, Yahweh Ace. And, we doing it big. We ready.
Yeah, you got, you got.
Ready. We out here in Cali. It feels real good to be out here, we got to leave behind the ones and twos right now. He just smiling right now. But we got to give him some kind of love, the engineer. But
That's right.
I appreciate you having me out here.
And have you on the show pushing music. I'd like to do a little bit more of that. We talked about that on the way in, as far as doing more music on the show, to be able to have that space to highlight some of the new sounds that are coming out. What I really like about what you do is that the songs are really, like, for my comedians who do clean comedy, you can play it anywhere. Kids can sing it basically, but it's still gotta like, the beat is just dope. So, in saying that, it's a good vibe feel. A lot of the music that you do, that's where you want to go with it.
Yeah, well, we just making anthem music right now. Music, it's like anthem. It's pretty much, it's just pretty much catchy. Everything we do is just catchy. It's gonna catch everybody's attention. It's just if it don't, when it come on, if it don't catch your attention right away, I feel like it's not a hit. So I don't even waste time with it. But that's what we making anthem music. So hey, you a big tipper, go make it happen. Go make it happen to the strippers. I'm trying to get strippers paid. Hey, so
Yeah, that was something that everybody hears the song. They're like, man, when we first heard it and trying to that beat, and that's what somebody said, man, you going to the club and you would dance into the music, you'd be wanting those guys every time. In the video, you have the girls throwing the money.
Yeah.
And by the way, anybody wants to do a video, where can they send it? Yahweh will post it.
Oh yeah. They could definitely send it to me. First of all, just you can look me up real quick at on Instagram as Yahweh Poetic. You can go on Google and just Google Yahweh Poetic. I'm the only Yahweh Poetic, so it's gonna run right into you. You'll run right into me, and then you can just hit me up from there. I can just get information from there. We can go from there. But yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
It would have been dope. We kind of had some strippers in here right now, like, you know, they could
To be
on the green screen.
Yeah, I'd have a few more views. But I don't have strippers tonight. Yeah, we put it on the big tipper.
It'd been dope. You know, we could have just been throwing a few dollars behind our head right now. You know?
Yeah, well, that's the possibility out here in LA of that happening. You go to a few places. We could have picked a few up on the way in here.
Ooh.
Yeah, you never know. What do you mean, you, Mr. Uber driver? Lee'll tell you.
We got an Uber driver.
My buddy,
What's
buddy
the
Lee's
address? I'll
got.
go get him.
You ready? You ready?
That's right. I'm gonna play it in my car because I want them to be big tippers.
Exactly. He'll be tipping them on the way here.
That's right.
He'll be riding and throwing money in the back seat.
That's
That would
right.
be that. Now, I'm really curious as far as like to go into the process of writing. The idea of when you hear a beat or a hook that just stays with you, and you know to pick. So is it the beat of the music that you're gonna find like you like the beats, and then you apply where it is you're gonna put the verses, or does it come to you as the music's played?
Kind of both. You know, it pretty much go off your spirit. It's all about spirit. For me, for music, it's all about spirit and vibe. I'm vibing at that time. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I come up with. A lot of times, the beat, if I'm just vibing to the beat, to come up with the song, it's basically the beat kind of tell me what to put on it. And that's why it come out like that song is so catchy because it's simple. And a lot of great songs, you know, they simple, so they stick with people. You know, you be sleeping, you know, you be in your sleeping. You know, like Lee, he probably had a few nights he was sleeping and
I told him you should play it in his Uber.
Sleep, you know,
right? You see, he's played it in his Uber because he wants those people digging deep when they got to tip him. Let me help you with that.
Hey, exactly. Hey, look, I'm trying to get everybody paid. You know, you a waitress. It don't matter who you are. You ain't just a stripper. You a waitress, whoever you are. You can get tipped. You know, when people hear that type of music, they kind of try to outdo themselves. So that's where I'm at right now. I just feel like, you know, I just want to make music that's just like theme music. You know, just the theme of the year, or the theme of the summer, or the theme of the winter, or whatever. You know, that's where I'm at right now.
Well, you also, Jason Case also performed with you. You were also in a hip hop band called, I want to say band. I mean, that sounds group, right?
Man,
You would say group.
That's
like crazy.
Like rock band.
Yeah.
No, it was in a group. It's called Trill, T-R-E-A-L. You can Google that, T-R-E-A-L. We had a few songs that was on the radio in, you know, Florida, Texas, Atlanta, you know, back in the day. You know, we had a few songs, you know. We had a few songs, probably like a few years ago, probably around like 2010, 2009. We had a few songs out there jumping on the radio. So my credibility, you know, as far as an artist, it's always been there. It's there. You can go Google me, YouTube us, T-R-E-A-L. But right now I'm just pushing a lot of my own music, Yahweh Poetic, and you know, YMMG. Shout out to YMMG, Yahweh Kenanaya, Yahweh Harmony. Like I said, Yahweh Ace. You know, Jace the Case. You know, we got a lot of new music coming. Like I say, you know, I'm you know, we pretty much own our own record label, so we doing everything ourselves.
Yeah, today that's
everything.
You know, like for what I do, a lot of people, there's podcasts. Everybody's into a podcast. Some of the things that the podcast people do is in trying to bring in artists such as yourself as radio show people want to get into the music industry. So they're bringing in you have to own the content. Right. You have to, I mean, there's a lot of things that people don't understand is to get stuff played. There's certain rules and regulations that you have to follow to do that. And you look at some of the artists that have used the internet, such as Logic. We've talked on that as far as like, you can actually, what is amazing, I watched a thing on this guy was doing it like almost like a parody spoof, kind of like tongue in cheek about paying a lot for college. And he says, you know, because you have to, because there's nowhere else you can get information. And behind him, you can see Google, where you could literally learn anything you want on the internet or on YouTube or whatever, right? So on how to be a successful artist in today's industry, a lot of the stuff that you do, you don't have to hire a full-blown crew to get a product that is something that you could actually market and get those hits and that attraction of what it is that you're doing.
First of all, you just got to have product. Well, I'm going to say first you got to have, you know, you got to know who you are as an artist, or know where you're trying to go, know what you're trying to do. A lot of artists, they kind of confused, but they finding themselves in the music. You know, sometimes I just live by, I bring the world to me. I try not to go to the world and try to be an artist for everybody. I'm just me. And if you like my music, that you know, hey, that's what it is.
Yeah, I know you're going to be putting out. This is just one of a couple of tunes. You just did the video for Millionaire.
Right,
Which,
a million.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely, y'all can definitely go check that out on YouTube. A Million. Yeah, I just dropped that. It's a brand new video.
Man, I'm seeing that every time I do a scratch ticket. I'm at the lottery. I need me a mill right now. You get, you know, or you get a slew of packing tickets out here in L.A. to live out here in L.A. Yeah, you got to figure that.
Yeah, you know, I'm getting right now, getting a little love, a little bit of everywhere. You know, Africa, Ghana, Africa.
That's right, Ghana, Africa played it.
Yeah, there's a few people over there actually sent me some videos, like, you know, so, you know, that's not nothing new to me, you know, that's kind of where we be hanging out at anyway, you know, we go to Africa anyway, that's what we do, so if you ain't touching other countries, you just, you know, you want to be local, that's on you. Right. Out the country, they show you love. You know, in Africa, they show love.
I call that the give back. You know, I actually asked a lot of the comedians when they get to a certain stature of what they're doing, right. What is the idea of the give back? And, you know, for what was the artist that went over to Africa and the kids are all dancing and he actually brought them all here to the United States and put them in the video? He actually...
French Montana, I think it was.
Yeah, right.
French Montana, I think that was him.
And... Yeah. The idea was how much that, I mean, I don't think what we take for granted in this country, and, you know, like you said, you've been to Ghana, you've been to Africa, you're working with your family, the Yahweh family, as far as help building a hospital and school, and that's Project Paradise 144. If anybody wants to find a good cause to believe in, you know, I'm always about, I'm amazed at how many people will jump on Facebook or what have you, and they've got a huge speech going about politics and what somebody said, the Kanye West and this, that, and the other thing, and yet to get personally involved and actually make a change, and you can actually take and be proactive in making changes in people's lives within this world, and everybody's so busy running the mouth and like they live in the box that does nothing. That does nothing for a cause to help other people, and I love that, you know, a lot of your music. I really do have a heartfelt spot for it because what your mission is to do the give back. Right. You know, it's not just all about, oh, yeah, Poetic's going to be this hot guy in this car. And I mean, he's going to be all that, but it's the idea of what you can do more outside of that.
It's kind of like, you know, it's, you know, great artists, they always have a purpose. You know, whether they doing it for their city, where they're from, their hometown, or the people that they grew up with, or the people that they're hanging around with now. That's relevant with them now. It's always a purpose for great artists, you know, and that's really what I do it for. I do it for, you know, people who can't help themselves. That's really where I'm coming at. That's where I'm coming from. You know, I know the struggle, been there, done that. So a lot of people do know the struggle, and you know, you just want to just create something greater for somebody else, and that's really where I'm at. That's what, you know, Yahweh Magazine Music Group. That's where we at. You know, YMMG. That's where we at. We actually go to Africa. We got schools there. We got, you know, hospitals there, medical centers there in 2 different districts, Kun Yaku and Makassine. We got a lot of different things that we're doing right now. So,
well, yeah, I mean, your story is interesting. I mean, that idea of you understand that what you come from, what you've built, and where you are now. I mean, it's really something that you've seen all sides of choices. In life. And for a lot of young black men who, like the show before me, she was talking about that, about, you know, all the gang things, and like, you know, that's a form of slavery. She said, she's like, you know, we got to knock this off. And, you know, you can't walk through some of the gang infested areas and not feel threatened for your life. And the whole thing about bringing peace and love in music is such a great avenue to do that. It's a language that speaks to the heart, no matter where or what. You know, Sue's a savage beast. I don't know. You've heard that, right?
Yeah, but you know, it's I think personally, when it comes to that, I think that it's all about when you talk about, you know, different areas and stuff like that. I think that it's more of, you know, just stepping outside of the box and don't really get too caught up into rumors. You know, rumors, you know, is big in the industry when it comes to media. I don't get caught up on the drama, you know, the different rumors and stuff like that. I just don't believe in rumors. If you haven't seen it with your own eyes, you can't really say if it's true or not. So I don't really get caught up into like you know, hey man, you know, don't go deal with those people because they like this, or don't, you know. I don't
Yeah.
really get caught up into that.
Well,
You know,
there's a lot of that, the drama that happens. I mean, it's almost like a feeding frenzy. Is nobody would ever pick up a magazine like the ragtag magazines and go, yeah, you know, the Kardashians are having a peaceful life today. They fed the hell. I mean, I've yet to see
That's true.
Kim Kardashian out feeding the homeless. You know, or doing it. They have no interest in the give back, and yet, how is it that us as a society we're like so desperately tapped into that, as if somehow that is some kind of relevance in our life? I don't know how that even matters. You know, it don't. But yet
it's all about
it
the people
feeds-
who do it. It ain't about people who don't do it.
Right.
No.
You know, let's not that idea of not addressing that. And I really like that, because most young men your age aren't really into the idea of a give back. Everybody's focused on themselves. I mean, I always say that about, you know, this being the era of selfies.
Well, that's why I just said, you know, everybody have a purpose. You know, like you got artists who they do it for like their team, you know, their home team, or, you know, their family, you know, the ones who they was raised with. So everybody, they do it for a certain purpose. It may not be for the same purpose that I'm doing it for, but they do it for a purpose. You know, they do it for, you know, for they local team. I do it for, you know, all the people around the planet. You know, that's why I say, you know, we traveling. Hopefully we can hit China this year. You know, that's what we doing. We want to go to, it's poor people in China, it's poor people in America, it's poor people in Africa, it's poor people everywhere. So, you know, but if you bring all that together, and everywhere you go, people listen to hip hop music everywhere. Even over there in Ghana right now, like they playing our stuff on the radio over there right now.
Right.
And they jamming. Like they listen to Southern music, trap music, they listen to all that. It's not what people think, what you see on TV. That's why I don't believe everything I see on TV.
Well, it's filtered into the white artists. Right now, the number 1 song, if I can think of it, my brains, but you listen to it and you can hear he's rapping in the song that a lot of the white singers, shall I say, but that's not the first. I mean, that happened way back. Elvis was one of the first ones to bring in that sound that he admittedly said he would not be Elvis if it wasn't for going into the Delta in areas in Mississippi, sitting on the porch and learning how to sing that type blues, rhythm and blues. And, you know, like...
Me personally, I think he was around, we call them trap people today, but I think he was around some people that was in the trap back then. And I think he was going in those little, you know, hole in the wall clubs, and that's where he learned it from. Matter of fact, he probably was somebody, a ghostwriter for him. So I believe that. If you probably do some research, you find out it probably was some black ghostwriter for him.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
in the trap.
Some of the Big Mama Thornton was the one who sang Hound Dog. I mean, I used to cover that song, and I remember somebody saying to me, the band that I was in was like, we're going to do the song Hound Dog. I'm like, but Elvis? And they're like, no, we want you to hear the original version Big Mama Thornton sang. And oh my God, she tears it up. And, you know, I mean, you are a hound dog in that song. Yeah, right? And just...
You'd be surprised. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised when you find out, like, a lot of these songs, a lot of great songs, and a lot of great artists where they get their style from, you know. Michael Jackson probably wasn't the first person who did the moonwalk. You know, he probably seen somebody in the hood do it, and he probably was like, oh, snap, that's dope. I can go on TV and do that. James Brown.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Before James, it was some of the old steppers back in the old days. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, all of that.
Exactly.
I mean, the heart and soul, like I really, that heartbeat, that rhythm that you can't sit still for, that plays into every aspect of our music. I'm just so grateful that we weren't stuck with Pat Boone and all of the music. I mean, seriously. What would America look like? My little pearls and my cardigan sweater, and you know, my little Playtex burr. You know, it's like I'm all for that, right?
Exactly.
White America. You know what I'm saying? And that was the TV. I mean, I just watched a thing on the TV in the 70s and how that all came and how they tried to shut them down. I was saying to him, of course, obviously he's way too young to realize that, but the federal government, there was a huge controversy over the fact that you had All in the Family they used the N-word for the first time. You had a white guy a black man calling a white guy honky, and the response was, and it was the Jeffersons, and they had a biracial marriage that was going on that, and yet the theme song for the Jeffersons, ain't nobody can sit and listen to that without getting up. You got to get up out of your chair, moving on up. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and all of that.
I think that a lot of stuff like that, you know, is inspirational to people. Period. Now shows like that, you know, it may not be real in that sense, but you know, he owned. What did he own? George Jefferson.
George Jefferson. He owned the apartment buildings. Oh, cleaners.
And the cleaners.
Jefferson Cleaners.
You know,
that's
so
right.
that was like for, you know, people in the hood that growed up, they didn't even think about like, man, we can have cleaners.
Right.
You know,
but
so
that
was just inspirational for that
Norman
time.
Lear talked about that, and what he said was he was such a great mind. I mean, what he said was when he came out with All in the Family and the shows that went off of that, and what he said was when he talked to the black people about that were on his show and representing him, and what they said was, why do you always have to show us? You know, because Good Times came out with JJ. And Fonzie, Happy Days was out. You know, White America, Perfect White America. And the catchphrase of Fonzie was, hey, you know, sit on it was another one. And the catchphrases were huge. For JJ, it was dynamite. Okay, yeah, so right. So they were saying, "Oh, isn't this great?" And the people's response was, "No, you're showing us as oppressed, because in that show that JJ Walker was in, Good Times, right? Mm-hmm. They were poor,
right?
Poor black people,
right?
Living in the projects. Right. That's what spun the character of George Jefferson. Right. He wanted to make it right. And in saying that, I love the fact that he also brought that music into it as well that represented it so well. And that's why I said with everything that you're doing, the connection to music and to the visual of what you see in the Sign of the Times, do you know that it's a fact that in order to tie a memory, you have to have emotion behind the situation that's going on. And music is raw emotion. Right. It's the ability to express it in a way that doesn't need... Most people can't. Right. Most people can't say, but a song will say what they feel. So in the times that we were in, music, the 60s was huge, what that music was. And then that broke out, you know, see Jimi Hendrix, a black man playing guitar. There was no black electric guitar player like Jimi Hendrix presented himself, so the music went there. And then you come into Soul Train. Now, I don't care what anyone says. I would rather watch Soul Train over American Bandstand any day.
Right.
Okay? My doorbell rang. I don't mean to... I also have on Big Ja tonight, the comedian, which... Again, Anna Marie's tragic comedy is that, you know, I switched my show an hour earlier, and Big Ja just got caught up in what time, 10 or 9. So it was really cool that you showed up and you were able to do this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm so thrilled with this. Big Ja, man, you ain't kidding. Your name is so fitting, Big Ja. Welcome in, yo. This is Yahweh Poetic. Just doing a little skit with him. And now we're going to switch it up. Everybody, welcome to my studio, man. Big Ja, man. How you doing, yo?
I'm doing
good
well.
Good to see you. I'm so good. I'm so glad you're here.
I apologize for the tardiness.
No, and step up to the mic.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah, we asked that you come on in. This is the artist that opens my song with my show with his song Big Tipper.
Big Tipper.
All right? And
Big Tipper.
yeah, you got to hear that, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Yahweh Poetic.
Sounds good. I like
yeah,
it.
man.
All right.
And he's from Florida. Brought him out here, and yeah, just
Florida boy.
Just keeping it real, man. Do you travel a lot for your shows, right?
Not for my shows yet. I do security as well. I do security for
you think
an artist. So I've been to Florida a couple times.
You just stand there, and you know. I always love that you guys are giving these big shirts that say security, and people will actually ask you, "Hey, dude, are you security?"
Nah, man, I'm not. I just got the shirt for the logo.
Have you ever been I stood at a concert, and by the 6th person, I was like, how many stupid questions do you know what? Do?
I work locally, too, on Wednesdays. I work at this bar, and I'm in the front. A mob of people will get out their cars, walk to the front of the place, walk right past me, and nobody, I need your IDs. Oh, you're security. I'm like, yeah, I mean... That's what I'm sitting here for. I'm standing right here. You look at me.
How is it you haven't done an Instagram skit on that? Because that is so...
I I will.
That is
That's
so
fine.
perfectly real.
Security memoirs or something.
Yes, yes.
Security Chronicles, yeah.
It seriously
I got
is.
some candy in my mouth. Let me get rid of this, because I'm talking kind of weird.
What do you need?
I got some candy in my mouth. I'm kind of...
Oh, he needs to spit that up?
Yeah, because I feel like I'm talking weird on the mic.
See that? They can see you too. They're going to see you spit that out in the
Yeah.
can. You be doing that?
Oh, yeah, well...
He,
This is
he doesn't need his ass wiped. He just needs to
Thank
spit
you.
out the candy.
hilarious. Yeah, the white party. I'm going to wipe my ass real quick. Nah, yeah, thank you, brother.
Listen, I really did. I want to play a clip
Oh, yeah.
that you sent me. And I want you
Yeah.
guys out there in the audience to get a look at what this man does. You guys are hilarious.
This is a little goofiness going on.
Yeah, it is.
You wanted to whoop somebody's ass, but you can't because you ain't got no hands? Well, fuck with me, though. All you got to do is dial 1-800-WHAT's happening, and I come beat their ass for you. I do chokeouts, knockouts, slapouts. What's happening, homie?
How you get in my backyard?
You got beef with a nigga named Paul?
Fuck that nigga.
Body slams, wedgies. Nigga, I do disguises.
What's a one, brethren?
You been sleeping with Nigel's wife, huh?
No.
You're lying. Ladies, if your nigga ain't acting right, ain't paying child support, I'll come slap his ass out for you. What's happening, nigga?
Whoa.
You don't take care of your motherfucking kids?
Well, I just paid my ex-wife like
Is that right?
$700.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
If you got a chick that's fucking with your man, I don't beat broads up, but I can kidnap their ass like a motherfucker. What's happening, sweet me?
Hi.
You been messing with Lakeisha husband, right?
See, I've been knowing Byron since El Camino College. I know him first. But you know it, and you better not close.
All you gotta do is bang my line. 1-800-WHAT's happening? I come whoop that ass.
Oh, man.
You know, I hired hitman from the hood. You know?
Holy. Now, I have to ask you because the artists that I've gone in from having stand-up comics, now I'm having the Instagram comics on
Right.
because you guys have the ability to take an idea, am I right? And then bring it, and then is it that you sit with somebody and you go, hey man, this is gonna be, or does somebody offer you up and go, hey, you should do, I mean, how do you get that formula?
I'm sure for some people it might be like, you know, hey, you should do this idea. But me personally, I'm a filmmaker. So that's my background. My background is filmmaking. So doing like sketch comedy for like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, it's like practice. It's just so I write all my material. I think of an idea and I say, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna need Anne Marie to be in it. Yahweh. So let me call them up and tell them what the premise is.
Oh, we there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. So I kind of like, I think of it in my head. Sometimes if it's real dialogue heavy, then I'll write it out.
Okay.
And I'll send it to the people who I'm going to work with and say, do you want to do the sketch with me? They say, yeah, of course. I'll send them the script. It could be a 1-2 page script. It's only 60 seconds or 2-3 minutes for YouTuber. So I just send them like a quick script. They read it over and then we rehearse it a little bit. It's basically independent filmmaking, express, microwave. It's just very quick on the spot.
Your 60-second attention span is what you got.
Sometimes I think of an idea and I don't have to have a script. And then if you see my sketches, I work with the same people a lot. So we're so used to doing stuff. I say, yo, hey Marie, I got a sketch where all right, so I'm gonna play this janitor and I'm gonna steal like cleaning supplies. And so you work there and you're gonna catch me there. We're gonna have a whole argument and I'm gonna run down the hallway with all this cleaning supply stuff and you're gonna lock the door on me and call the police and then the police come and so
it plays itself out.
Yeah, it plays itself out and you know my comedy, you know my energy, I know yours, so you know where to go with it. Like,
I see that. You guys have I see.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Johan?
Jahan, yeah.
Yes, I inboxed him. He did a contest on his page. He's like, if you go on this page and you like all these people and you follow them, you could win and had all these listings.
Right.
So I sent back. He did another one. I go, hey, who won the last one? He goes, I don't know. I don't pick them. So I said to him, why don't they put you on the prize? Because I've been asking him to come on the show. I go, why don't you put yourself on the prize list and say, spend an hour conversation with Johan. And that's not all. You also get, I go, a free bottle of water and a T-shirt with very prophetic things written on it, just teasing him along that because you know it's one of those things where I see him and you. There also was another guy who's also on. There's Tyree Spivey. Yeah, he's another one.
Shout out to Tyree. He got a show tomorrow.
He's actually been on my show.
Has he?
Yeah.
He's a ball of fun.
He's a blast.
And that's really him 24/7. He's
always on.
He's always on in a good way. When I first met him, we met years ago, even before this social media stuff.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
These guys are so that what you've accomplished. I mean, you really are. I mean, the energy it takes, and I want to point that out. The energy it takes to keep the schedules you guys do.
Yeah.
Like I've seen where I just got out of work. I got home at 2.
Oh, yeah.
I got to study my lines. I got to be on the set and do an audition.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I had audition today.
Did you really?
Yeah, I auditioned today.
How'd it go?
I booked it actually.
Did you?
I got it. Yeah. I'm used to. Normally, you go on the audition. You wait 2 or 3 days, maybe a week before you hear back from them. They got back to me today, so it's good.
Can you share what it was for?
It's what I do know of it is a independent film. I don't want to say the name yet because I don't know if I'm supposed to.
Right.
But it's I know Terry Crews is in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Terry
awesome.
Crews is in it. Ludacris is in it too.
Get out of here.
So my role is small, but my I play Terry Crews. His character like stops. He's like a muscle for like this drug cartel, and he stops doing it because of his moral compass. And I'm like the guy they hired to fill in for him when he leaves. I don't have a moral compass. I'm just ready to get it going. So I have a couple scenes in the movie.
That must be awesome.
I'm excited about it.
Have fun with that. Yeah, because and it does. There's a lot more to like. I've met people that are like, I want to be an actor. I want to be this, and I'm like, okay. Let's say you get a role and you're going to be filming. You're up at 4 a.m. It's 20 below zero.
Mm-hmm.
The location. Or they require you to take lessons and you got to learn how to walk a tightrope. It could be anything in the industry. You have to be mentally, physically. And to be ready to take on what it is that everybody thinks it's
glamour. They think it's glamour.
Right. Because that's how all romance
so
life.
They see the red carpet. They see the movie. They see the finished product.
I get all dressed up.
But I've been obsessed with people. I have a buddy who's a producer, and he actually their lead actor had to take 2 months of dialogue. What you call it? He had to get an accent. Accent. So dialect classes, and that was not a burden, but it was something that he had to do. You got the role, you booked the role, but now we need you to sound like this person.
And those aren't easy. I have friends that are taking that. Those are really hard to do because you have to be like, I wouldn't hear it, but the person from that country would hear you. I feel that way whenever they have someone doing Boston. When Matt Damon and Affleck do, then they got the river, the mist, all that stuff. And my kids are like, we don't talk like that. And my trip back to Boston, I'm like, yeah, we kind of do. I mean, I hear it. That heavy accent. Yeah.
Like, my mom's from New York, so when she gets upset, I can hear the New York in it. Yeah, and it's like you have an East Coast accent, and so New York, but you can tell the difference from Boston, New York. You can tell the difference between boroughs in New York. Mm-hmm. I can't, but my family back in the Bronx, I got family in the Bronx, I got family in Brooklyn, Queens, Harlem, and they all sound the same to me. I said, your accent is so thick. Oh no, but that's the Queens accent. You could tell. You can listen to someone say, "Where you from? You from Bronx?" Yeah, I could tell.
Oh, right.
I can't tell. To me, you're just all from New York, but out there. But I can definitely hear your Boston accent.
It's hilarious when people say to me, "You from New Jersey?" And I'm like, "How do you get New Jersey?" And every time they go, "Well, it's kind of like your attitude." I'm like, that energy level that's East Coast, and that's one of the things being out here when I talk to people, and they'll say, "What?" Because, like, I'll say, I asked a guy at the store, I says, I need a cot. And the guy goes, like, a what? I said, I need a cot. And he goes, I have no idea what you're saying. And to me, it's like, I put in a what? Now, forget it. Just forget it, know, as far as that goes. And yet, if you hear somebody from England speak, they don't, New England. So they don't, British accents, they don't have Oz either. Mm-hmm. Governor. Yeah, right?
Governor.
Cockney is, good evening, governor. Yeah. I was watching somebody actually talk about that. I have a friend of mine who does voiceovers.
Right.
That's a huge industry out here.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, have you ever thought about wandering into that venue?
Here's the thing, even as an actor and a stand-up comic, I have a lazy tongue. So, I feel like I have a unique voice, but I slur my words sometimes. I think I just did that just now.
Yes.
And so, I don't know if, I could probably, I would love to do voiceover. To answer your question, yes. I have buddies who are comics who actually. I have a buddy. You know who Tony Baker is? You know
yes.
Tony. Yeah, he's if he's not in the next year or two making a bunch of money doing voiceovers for like Pixar or something, I don't know what's going to happen because he's so great at it. You go to his page, he does like a lot of animal voiceover like sketches. It's funny. It's hilarious.
I had a young woman on the show Gray. She is the voice of Daphne on Scooby Doo.
Okay.
She's also, there's a couple of cartoon characters that are modern day cartoons. When I had a young kid that was sitting in front of her, he was losing his mind. He's like, oh my, like she was the biggest movie star he had ever met.
Right.
And she was telling me that, you know, the ability, the flexibility of her voice, that she knew at an early age that she could pick up a sound from someone speaking on TV and mimic it. And she said she got into the industry when it was a lot easier, just like comedy. At one time, you got paid more. There wasn't as much overexposure. There wasn't as many people
very
in
saturated
it.
Now, yeah.
Right. And how many people do you meet there for the party, and not for the commitment?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Yes. Excuse me. I just did it.
That's all right.
I apologize. I'm very hands-on. I'm touchy. There's a place I go to, this house in Van Nuys, and where a lot of content creators go to shoot sketches and basically.
I've heard about that house.
Yeah,
that's all it's for.
Yeah, Sketch House LA, and I really that's where I really started. A lot of that Tiberius, that sketch we just watched, was shot there, and so it's a great place. It's a good. It's an exciting place to be because it's full of energy and creativity. But then there's a lot of people who come just for the optics. They want to come check out the actors, the female girl, the little girls that's running around.
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and they just want to be a part of the spectacle without actually working.
Groupies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on there. As far as that.
Sometimes then you find yourself, you're sitting inside this room where there's maybe 10 creators, but 22 people who just, not 22, like maybe let's say 8 people just sitting around flirting with girls and this.
How much of that takes, and this is only because being a creative person, like when you have distractions, there's a certain amount of flow that has to happen. There's a certain amount of unity that has to happen when you're in that creative flow. And people, I know in advertising, I was on advertising and marketing where we're throwing out ideas.
Right.
If you have somebody trip that up or wander off with it or take the energy from that, I would imagine sometimes people might get, like the crying kid in the corner, it might get a little aggravating. It's like, sit down, shut the fuck up, just do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, right.
We're working here.
Right.
This is not a party.
Exactly. Think about it being on set. On a professional Hollywood set, there's a lot of sitting around and waiting, but there's a lot of work being done behind, from camera crew, DP, actors, directors, gaffers, and they all have to work together for everything to run smoothly. Just imagine trying to get the same kind of product done, like a sketch done, with no director, except maybe you, with no sound guy, but people laughing and joking in there. So it's hard to get you. And there's no, you can't tell them, hey, shut the fuck up. You can, but they might be like, man, no, I'm not going to be quiet.
Right.
But for the most part, people are quiet once you have to keep yelling at them. But hey, sometimes it's like, man, sometimes you got to keep doing this, a takeover, because you keep hearing people in the back laughing and joking. Well, they should be working on their own sketch or just not being around. I want to bring that point up as to how much work for those 60 seconds, how much work goes in. People don't, that's the other thing people don't realize. 60 seconds is tough to tell a story. In 60 seconds. One. Here's the thing. Do you guys remember when Vine came out? Yes. Vine was 6 seconds. So that was very impressive. If you can tell a story in 6 seconds, and some of these guys were doing it. They were literally getting a story told in 6 seconds. 60 seconds is still tough as well, because now you have to give more information out, but still keep it within 59 seconds. So it's tough because you have to expedite your story. You got to get the premise out there. Trim all the fat. Yeah, trim all the fat, and that's not easy to do. When you're shooting it, there's no timer. Right. So sometimes I'm shooting a sketch, I'm like, oh, this is going to be 58 minutes, or 45 seconds, or 58 seconds. And you get to the editing, I'm editing it, and I'm at a minute and 39. I'm like, oh. Well, Lee knows, because Lee does all the editing. Is that right? Yeah. And people don't think about that on radio, because he doesn't have that problem with me. It's called the pregnant pause, or too many ahs, or too many ums. And I'm like, you really go back over the show? And he's like, yeah, it has to have, this is live, and then it goes on SoundCloud, YouTube, and what have you. And you have, in Facebook. So you have this content that you're putting up there, and he gets to chisel it down. And I don't know, one of the shows that he was editing, he's like, this fucking guy. And I go, what's the matter, Lee? He goes, taking the guy's ums out every time he spoke. Yeah.
Yeah, and people don't realize that they're doing that.
Right.
You know, as far as standing up in front of a bunch of people and you're standing there and you're speaking and you're giving a speech like TED Talks and all of that. And I'm always amazed at how eloquently what their conversation is just flows.
Right.
You know?
Very, very easy to listen.
I mean, for you, timing has to be as important from getting the face, from getting the action, from capturing the emotion, everything that's going on as a filmmaker.
Comedic timing.
Yeah. Do you have to? Do you also direct people as to what it is you're looking for in that space?
And some people, I work with the same people a lot because I like the way they work, and they're easy to direct. You know, some people aren't easy to direct. Some people are even a good actor isn't just someone who can emote well or perform well. They have to be able to take direction. Like for example, this audition I did today, the lady asked me to do it 5 different times.
Whoa.
And someone who doesn't really know, I've been around a little bit, to know that if someone keeps asking you, if the casting director is asking you to keep doing it, they might like what they're saying. And they want you to try different options. So she kept giving me different notes to take. All right, come here, bring it down a little bit. And this time walk in, don't just stand there. And this time act as if he is a total idiot. And you're fed up. You're more frustrated than you are angry. She said, you're more frustrated than you are angry. And so, because initially I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And the second time I came in, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
You know, so in going back to your question, I don't have a huge cast of people I work with. I work with the same people because I know they're going to give me what I need.
In every team, that's right.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to put together a team that can actually do the dance in any business. Like we had restaurants. If you couldn't get bartenders behind a small bar that knew each other's movements and rhythm, and if you took one out and brought somebody new in, it was a clusterfuck behind the bar.
Yes.
And I'm really amazed at like the fact that when I first started doing interviews with comedians and they were talking about Instagram, it was like the older comedians were like, these people can't do 5 minutes on stage. Well, a lot of you guys have proved them wrong because a lot of the comedians that were smart enough to know said, I'm going to get in on this because these people are getting hundreds of thousands of likes,
right.
And it creates
brand deals, endorsements,
And so, so you get that as well. So, which is why I'm always saying, you sure you don't have a space for a smart ass from Boston? And one lady's like, you could so play a MILF. I go, I don't want to be obvious. But it's like, somebody says, well, no, when you go for a part, they pick you because you're that. And the only way you get that is you're yourself. People don't realize that. And I've had producers on have told me what we're looking for is somebody that is actually willing to play themselves, not do it up like somebody they saw doing Shakespeare or whatever. And that's the person we want because
reality.
Yeah,
true honesty.
It's less directing, right?
Less directing and it's true honesty. For example, I mean, this character I went out for today was basically a big thug type guy. I am a big man, but I'm not a thug. At the same time, I can play that because I grew up in that environment. Right, you saw it, exactly. So, and they haven't even seen that. And they saw that, they might have just gave me the role without me auditioning, but I auditioned for it. And I played not necessarily myself, but like an extension of myself. So, yeah.
I have to ask this question of actors because it always, like, after I saw Liberace and Michael Douglas and what's his name playing the lover, I'm like, so you get a role, you go out for a role, and they want you to play a gay man, and you have to go through this. Can you do that?
Here's the thing. I had this conversation 2 days ago.
How weird is that?
And I said, the only way I could play a gay man is if I didn't have to kiss a man. Now, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with people's lifestyle. That's your lifestyle. That's your lifestyle.
Right, but I understand.
I remember as a kid watching Martin and like in Living Color, and Jamie Foxx would dress up as Wanda. Yeah. And I was like, that's hilarious. I'd do that. I would love to be a comedian and do that kind of stuff. Not say I would love to dress like a woman, but I could do that if I would needed to. Shanae, Martin plays Shanae.
Oh my gosh, Shanae.
And that's to me, that's funny.
World. Yeah.
Nowadays in 2018, there's so many men wearing dresses and for the sake of being funny. And that's
they said I want you to hear what I actually had read that somebody commented on how many black men they put in there was something like and it's a funny thing, like as far as like you can read into anything you want based on your perception. You know, where I never would have thought of that until it was put in front of me and somebody documented, Geraldine.
Yeah.
Flip Wilson. That's
Wilson.
a little before.
I know. I'm the youngest of 7.
I was going to ask you that. You come from a big family.
Yeah, I'm 36. My oldest brother's 62.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No way. That's
my dad passed in 2016. He was 78.
And he had a few kids, huh?
He got a few.
Yeah, man. He started early, yo.
Pops got around, yeah.
That's amazing.
But so I know about Flip Wilson. Geraldine,
yeah. And no, like when I ask comics, his name Flip Wilson never comes up. I'm like, do you realize what he did? I mean, that was Sonny and Cher. That was my generation. Sonny and Cher, Flip Wilson show. And for me, now this was a question. This bothers the shit out of me because when people talk about racisms and perceptions of what people have and like people have joked and said to me, you do know you're white, right?
Right.
And like I'm like, I get just my skin. But it's one of those things where the first black man I saw on TV was Martin Luther King. I'm a young child watching the assassination of Martin Luther King. I've just seen John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King, and everybody acted the same way. They didn't go, oh, he's a black man, we don't feel as bad. So now that's my first introduction. Right. There's emotion, there's pain, there's so much love coming out of people. The next introduction to the next black man I see is Sidney Poitier. Did I say his name right?
Mm-hmm. Sidney Poitier.
To Sir with Love.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
And Guess Who's Coming to Dinner with Katharine Hepburn.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could go down the line. And then as a young kid watching the entertainment world, it was Flip Wilson, Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm like, where did all these perceptions come from? How do white people I could not wrap my head around any of that. And I still feel the same way today when people get all wired up about, and they have, I mean, like I've said, somebody commented on, a guy the other day commented, yo, he's surrounded by brothers. Not men, brothers. And I'm like, really? You're going to go there? What does it matter?
Man, some people are afraid of what they don't know. That's the saying that we've all heard. You guys heard before me. Like, I was talking yesterday about some people who grew up in the area, in the environment with no black people.
That was me.
Okay.
Except on TV. Like I said, that's the only place you heard me say, not Charlie down the street.
Mm-hmm.
TV introduced me to black people.
So I remember I grew up in a black neighborhood, and there was one white kid, Chris Bible, and all his friends were black. And he was born there. His mom was a single mom, and she had one son, and it was him. And I don't know why she lived in this neighborhood full of black people, but she did. And he grew up, and he was literally the only white kid. He was the first white kid I ever seen, and I ever played with. And he was a regular white kid. And
did you grow up with perceptions about white people? Like,
no, you know what? I didn't because of Chris Bible for one,
right?
And then his mom was regular. She never treated us any different. And y'all come in to eat, we'll come in, and he'll have a birthday party. We'll come in, and there's 8 black kids around this one white boy, and he's one of this Kansas rear, And my aunt is white. I have an aunt that's a very close aunt of mine. My Aunt Nancy is my uncle's, my dad's brother's wife, and she's been there my whole life. So even I don't remember her never been in my life, and so I would go to my cousin's house to hang out and spend the night, and she was the mom figure. She was mom. And my mom and her they still get along. They had a dinner today, for Mother's Day. I mean, for my mom's birthday, it was a past couple days ago. So I've always had white people in my life. So it wasn't like, oh, white people are like this. Because I know I had.
You hear that a lot in comedy.
Of course.
When they do the white people thing and the black people thing.
And it's true. It's a stereotype. But stereotypes stem from, culture. Yeah. Right. So I do know the difference. I'm not, I grew up in South Central LA. So, and there's no white people there.
No.
So. When I as a kid growing up, and then I moved to San Diego. Right now it is, it's gentrified, and but Compton used to be all white. And my dad grew up in
really.
At one point in time, my dad's from Cleveland, but he moved out here in the 70s, and like in the late 60s and the 70s, early 70s there was in Long Beach, Compton, they were all white. And all the black people were like in Pasadena and stuff like that. So, like, my boy lives in Long Beach. Across the street is this old retired sheriff. He's a black man. He was the first black man in the neighborhood, and he's been there for like 50 years. So, I've been blessed to experience all different types of races.
I like how you put that.
And so I did grow up with. I didn't know that Mexicans play football until I moved to San Diego. I was a kid growing up in L.A. and then I moved to live with my father in San Diego, and it was predominantly Mexican and Filipino at my high school. And I was trying out for the football team. And I saw all these Mexican kids. I was like, Mexicans play football?
See that?
So
isn't that funny?
In the sense, and I'm 14 years old. I was 14 years old, 14 years, and I was literally on the field like shocked.
That's funny comedy though,
right?
Because that's the truth on how you see that.
It's just
not soccer. They're playing football.
Yeah, right. They're playing football, not soccer football, like football, and they were good. I got close buddies to this day that I play high school ball with, who are very good football players.
Have you heard of have you ever met the comedian Jose Raymond?
Jose Raymond, no.
If you do, you'll probably run across him on the circuit. He's funny and obviously Mexican, but he grew up in Watts.
Yeah. And
he talks about growing up in that environment. It was like, if you went to Compton or Inglewood, it was like you were moving up. Yeah. As to what he endured as being one of the only Mexicans growing up in that environment. And, you hear how it shapes, and obviously it shapes his comedy. And he has such a great way of looking at life because of what he endured. Adversity builds character.
I was just about to say that exact same phrase. Adversity builds character.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a product of that. I've came through a lot of adversity. And, it does build character. So I appreciate all the things, all the bumps and bruises I've received growing up, and I think it makes me a stronger person.
Yeah, that the more that I meet comedians out here and you hear everybody's story, because everybody has a
story.
When I have them come on, which I would love to have you back on for a full hour.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. It's one of those things where I mean, like I've tried to work out. We've had comedians up. One woman, the diva. I don't know if you've ever seen her. Her name is Samantha Rodriguez, okay?
I've heard of her.
She's 6'1".
Yeah.
She's so talented.
It's a long hair, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, she is. When she says, when I pick up guys, I literally, you got to have some meat. I'll hurt you.
Right.
Yeah, she's just a big lady, 6'1". Imagine her in heels. But I'm thinking that'd be a good matchup for you. You got a lady?
No, I don't. But it's on the, I'm dating.
Okay.
And which means that I'm going to get serious soon.
Okay.
So this person, I'm still technically single, but with efforts and intentions.
Yeah, you getting up there, yo.
Oh, yeah, I'm already 36.
Yep.
For real.
Please.
Yeah.
We're laughing,
hilarious,
right?
Hilarious.
Right, it is hilarious. But you want to know something? And Lee will attest to this. Your body's going to age. It just does. But your spirit, if you have a young, youthful spirit, not that you want to be creeping down at the high school. We don't mean that.
No.
But I mean, if you have a young, youthful spirit, like a lot of my friends, I had a comedian, a very, very high profile comedian, who commented on the fact me seeing somebody younger. And their comment was, like baby food. They either come in a jar or in a pouch. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Are you serious? You're calling me out on dating? Because men do it all the time. Right. And how do you explain to somebody that your age has nothing to do with it? Okay, so yeah, my body is aging and whatever. But as far as like where you connect in spirit, I could have the same, depending on the person and their spiritual soul and what I've talked to men my age where I'm like, oh my God, kill me now. Really? Right. I don't give a shit what you own. Right. I don't care how much money you make, what you're driving, what sport. I mean, there's certain conversations that are just like nothing. Right. There's no substance to it.
Right.
There's no energy. That's the thing. I have a lot of energy.
Indeed. I could tell from the first time we met at the comedy store.
Oh, that was hilarious. I tell everybody I almost walked into him. It's pitch black. Obviously, he's dark, right?
Yeah, I'm pitch black.
He's pitch black.
Yeah, and it was pitch black. And I was wearing pitch black.
He was wearing black, right?
And all the curtains around us were black.
And I actually said to him, I didn't see you.
Right, yeah. Indeed, it happens.
Yeah, but you're, and it was so graceful of him that was, not every comedian that I've met is so willing. When I go out, like I say to him, I'm new. So as I'm meeting people, can you introduce me? And he went out of his way to make sure that everybody I was coming in contact with, this is Anna Marie, she has a radio show, you might want to get the information, talk to her. There was only one guy that was like, he was rude. He was just not nice, yes. And he said to me, he cut me off and he goes, you sound like Gilbert Gottfried. And I was like, and I looked at him, I go, wow. I wanted to say to him, you're a dick, but I didn't. I said, wow, that wasn't nice at all. And I just decided I don't want to talk to this person at all.
You know who he was?
Yeah, everybody knows who he was. The guy in the hat, and the
shit.
girlfriend, and the shorty. He did the whole on how to use your phone. The guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know you're talking about.
Right. And I was just like, I mean, there's certain, I guess when you get to a certain level of fame, you know, you have this, you know, who are you?
Because this is what I see. By doing security and when you're security, you see everything.
Right.
Other than the person taking the shower or a dump, you see everything. I have the guy I work with, I'm with him every day, all day, unless he's taking a shower or he's in the bathroom. Or, you know, or in the bedroom with like somebody. Or just, you know, whatever. So I get that. I hear all the conversations and I hear all the people. When you get to a certain level, people cater to you to a degree that you've never experienced. And if you're a lesser person, you won't be able to handle that. This guy I work with, he's a very mature young man, so he can handle someone catering to him and not let it go to his head to where he's treating people and saying the wrong things and just disrespectful things to people for no reason. Because you can say whatever you want to someone, and they're going to still take it, swallow that pride, and then still cater to you because that's their job, and or they want something from you, or they want to still be connected to you in your name. So
I do believe, and I've said this, your responsibility when you've been given the gifts by God, I don't know if you're a spiritual man, but you know, when you're given gifts by God, they're to utilize, to use his tools out in the world to make the world a better place.
Right.
And you better give back, because when you get to that, yes, you worked for it, you earned it, your faith might have pulled you through moments where other people would have quit. But when you get to a point in your position where you have that and you can give back, it is your best, I would have to say, obligation in life is to do something purposeful with that.
I agree.
And to think that you're above that, you're a minute. Because you know this industry. You can say one wrong thing, it's a choice, and because let's not forget, we're the same beings that adored and worshipped and then said, let's crucify the son of a bitch. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The industry is we've always had that kind of let's adore and build up. And these are only people that,
right.
It's like they're not, when you see them out, LA's full of people that are just being people.
Yeah.
You know, they're not your imagination of being something more, but you have so much power when you are, it's frightening.
Money is power. Popularity is power.
Fame
is power. You know, if people like, look at someone like Dave Chappelle. I use him because I'm a comic, and that's what I look at his career and his status and his voice. People come. They'll come from San Diego to come to Hollywood to know that he's going to drop in the comedy club and do 2.5, 3 hours, and they're going to sit there and watch it and soak up everything he says. So whatever he says on that day, they're going to take with them, and they're going to pay attention to it. So
yeah, he's a master at teaching.
Yeah,
that gift that he has, and he proved by walking away from all that money.
Yeah,
he ain't doing it for the money.
He ain't doing it for the money.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that a lot of comedians must have been like, he crazy because, right?
Yeah, and I said it, of course, when I was in my 20s back then when it happened, and I was like, there's no way. And I was a young comic. Oh, there's no way I'm leaving that kind of money on the table. But then that interview, I'm sure you saw it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it really did.
And that changed because of that interview. That helped on top of my father being a great person to have great advice from, I watched the interview and I was like, yeah, that's the kind of person that I want to be. I don't want to be like Dave Chappelle, but I want to be that type of person that values other things than the monetary gain and, you know, currency and this fame. And I respected him even more so for that. I wasn't even a Dave Chappelle fan growing up.
Right.
Martin, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, Damon Wayans, and Dave Chappelle was okay until I started doing comedy and I started understanding how to write jokes and how to perform.
And you saw the brilliance.
And I saw the brilliance.
He's brilliant.
Same thing with Seinfeld. I didn't like Seinfeld until I went to college, and I took a class in the college on Seinfeld, the show. It's not a class that you can graduate with, but it's a class that you could take. Like if you have interest.
I'd like to take, yeah.
And I was like, this show is amazing. They're from the writers, from him, who's not an actor at all, but from him, I think it was a great show. And
well, I have to only because as we wind down and Lee's over here, give me 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Where are you gonna be?
I am going. Well, see, I was going to be at the Union tomorrow, but I'm not. I got to do something else. I am not booked. I'm not booked, but I might be at the Billy Room on Thursday.
Okay, with
I'll be there.
Michelle.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'm going to be up. I'll be there.
Crack 'em Up Comedy. I'm trying to get to that. I really am.
Crack 'em up, yeah.
And you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to have Big Ja on the show
I'll
again.
be back for the full hour.
He's going to come back for the full hour. You guys have a good week. Next week, I'm running a tape because I'm actually going to San Francisco to see my daughter. You guys have a good week, and I'll see you out there.
My daughter?
My daughter.
Awesome. Dope.
I don't like raw fish in my sushi. Want a big tip, better get the cooking. I am not paying you for all this lipping. Sapphire diamonds, yeah, they bluey. Put them around your neck, you look chewy. Blow 10 grand, please excuse me. Bless me real good, I need a hero cookie. I'm a tipper, I'm a